Hi, my name is George Tallabas, and I'm an associate broker with RE/MAX Executives here in Southwest Idaho. Today is June 28, 2021, and I wanted to talk to you folks today about owner or seller financing. And you might say, what? With interest rates being as low as they have been for the last decade or so, why would anybody want to talk about seller financing? Well, when I started my career in February of 1980, within a year, mortgages were 18%. No one could afford 18%. And so a lot of owners would finance their properties, commercial property, land, homes, what have you, and they could get pretty high interest rates by doing that, because with mortgage rates 18%, I put together many owner finance deals where the seller was receiving 14, 15, 16% interest. 10% was considered low. So why is that important today with interest rates as low as they are right now? Well, I want to share a story with you that's a true story that happened back in 2015. Had a lady contact me that owned a commercial property here in Caldwell on 5th Street. And she told me that she had had that property listed for 5 years with 3 different agents and nothing had happened. All the agents told her was that she needed to drop her price, drop her price, drop her price. She was asking $375,000. She finally contacted me out of frustration. I met with her, I asked her a lot of questions, and one of the questions that I asked her was there any debt on the property? She said there was not. I explained to her seller financing and what it would mean to her. I could get her a fairly large down payment, a very attractive interest rate of 5.5% to 6.5% interest, which is more than she would get from the bank, and monthly payments that would be amortized over 25, 30 years with a payoff at the end of 5 years. To make a long story short, she contacted her family in Boise. They agreed to it. I listed the property. 45 days later, I had her a full price offer with a very large down payment, 6.5% interest. That was amortized over 25 years, and it did pay off at the end of 2020. So she was absolutely elated. Why? Because she didn't have to come down on her price. Remember, all these agents told her, you got to come down on your price, you got to come down on her price. When you, as a seller, offer terms to a buyer, especially attractive seller terms, normally those buyers are willing to pay you your price. Not always, but typically you give something in terms, buyer will reciprocate by paying you a higher price for your property. So a situation or an example that I want to give you why this would be so attractive today. Consider a family farm where it's been owned for decades by the family. Let's just say 100 acres and a house. They decide to sell out. They can sell their house and 5 acres as a personal residence, buy another property and have no taxes. They can sell their farmland on contract with owner financing with a large down payment and monthly, quarterly, semi-annual or annual income coming in with a very attractive interest rate. Even today, with today's interest rates, 4.5% to 5% on owner financing is not unusual. That income coming in is a very attractive income to a retired couple. Now, there's always a risk with owner financing. That's why you want to make sure and get enough of a down payment. But if the buyer ever defaults, the sellers can recoup the property and resell it again. One thing you need to be really careful with when doing this as sellers, you want to make sure that when you do an owner financing like this, you have to know the tax implications. If you don't want, one of the advantages of doing owner financing is you can spread your tax liability, capital gains out over several years rather than paying it in a lump sum. If you'd rather just have income for the next 15, 20 years, that's great, but make sure you put it in the contract that the buyer cannot prepay your contract before that 15 or 20 years, or you will be paying a heck of a lot of capital gains when they pay you off. I hope this has been interesting to you. I hope people will start thinking about this again. If you have any questions, my information will be at the end of the video and below in the description. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye.